Well, you talk a little bit about how you feel Todd is a little too hard on the kids sometimes.
In his relationship with Kayla,
Right.
which is his daughter he came into the marriage with. Sometimes I feel like he wants to control what I do for Kayla.
Okay, so everybody knows that we're a blended family. Todd and I both came into the relationship with girls. So our daughters, the oldest, Kayla, being 23 now, and Riley is 17. We definitely have had arguments in the past, mainly because, like, with Kayla, say for instance, around her birthday or around Christmas, he likes to determine what we're gonna do for her during those times, whereas, you know, he bases it off of, well, she needs to save money for this, or we should just hold it until this happens, or, you know, whatever. Whereas I just feel like, you know, well, so what if she got in trouble this day or whatever, if she made us mad or whatever. It's her birthday, so just let her do what she wants to do.
It seems like she's the more lenient parent.
I am.
Yeah, she's the more lenient parent, and he's more of the disciplinarian, and he's also a man, so that's a hard position to be in, because you're like, oh, just, you know, forget about that.
Yeah. She's grown. You know, he feels like, oh, you know, if she hasn't been responsible in a situation or whatever, then, you know, well, she shouldn't get this or shouldn't do that, and blah, blah, blah. And I'm just like, okay, but she's 23. Let her live. You know what I mean?
I kind of agree with Todd, I have to say.
I get what you're saying. You always agree with him.
We kind of have the same kind of sensibility when it comes to that kind of thing. But
I feel like, to be honest, he's taking a lot of hits from the fans, a lot of negativity because of his reaction. Now, things that I will say I definitely don't agree with. It's kind of like, we can talk to each other about what we feel, you know, should happen in certain situations, but ultimately, you know, the birth parent in that situation has the final say. Now, in the future, when, you know, with our smaller kids that we have together, obviously we're gonna have to, you know, compromise a bit more.
Where are you and Porsha at this point in y'all's relationship? Because I know that you guys, you know, were friends, and I really did my best in Greece to make it clear to Porsha, regardless of whatever
I have written for her,
you guys have been through, you definitely ride for her, and I know you valued her friendship.
I definitely
and
valued
I really
her
tried
friendship.
to make that clear. Where are you guys now?
We're not. My issue with Porsha, straight up and down, is that what's good for the goose is not good for the gander. She started our feud to begin with by being messy about the Kenyan situation.
I just thought it was a little odd that Eva didn't bring her kids because she knew about the King's energy.
I've never been negative to that girl my whole life.
Of course you could take your kids where you want. The only reason I was asking where her kids were in the first place is because I had imagined a costume for her kids. So I was like, why didn't you bring them? Because I was trying to see what you were gonna put little Mikey in. That's the only reason I asked her. It's not like I was doing anything super shady. When she said to me, oh, the kids are at school, I was like, that doesn't make sense. I thought you were gonna bring in little boy.
I was scared. You know, these little group events sometimes can get crazy. And I
It's a kid group event. And then she said, well, to be honest with you, the last couple times I've been around Kenya, you know, it's been kind of funky. And so when I talked to Kenya, of course, that means you didn't like her energy, right? Meanwhile, I didn't even realize that Cynthia was the one standing there using the word energy.
You know, you want to make sure the energy's right.
So that's, because it fit. That's the reason why Cynthia said energy. Because you're basically saying you don't know about Kenya's energy, and that's why you didn't want to bring your kids. So when I talked to Kenya, in natural housewife fashion, I'm gonna repeat it and say that I felt like that was odd, that she didn't bring her kids.
So she went too far and was super messy, and I respond to her being super messy.
Porsha told her that you basically said that you didn't bring your kids to the party because you didn't know about Kenya's energy.
Porsha just had a baby. And I tiptoed around her whole little feelings. Come on now, bitch, if you want me to go off,
Porsha, she got enough bullshit going on in her life, but she can converse about that. She needs some business. And I can forward her a lot of these blogs so she can mind that business. Porsha might want to say all the way about my business. She still got her C-section healing. She over here worried about somebody else's baby.
When Kandi first told me, I didn't believe it. I put no weight on it whatsoever. And I told Kandi at that very moment, I'll ask her when we get to Canada. You are the main one out of all of these girls who says, girl, I got you. I will never let nobody say nothing about your personal life. For you to go on a rant and just be like, is she even healed from her C-section scar? Like, you know what, matter of fact, let me bring up the blogs. Why not bring up the blogs on Dennis? For me to hear that you threw that in the air as a friend, it hurt. I'm not gonna lie, that really did hurt me.
I want to respond to it because that was definitely not what I said.
Even came to me after the fact and was like, how dare you? You know, don't come at me like that. You know I have your back always. I'm a part of your village. I had already told Eva, I get if you were upset. Of course, fine, vent. But for you to talk about my baby, talk about my fiance at the time, all that, it was like, oh, you're doing too much. Like, you went way deep. And I just didn't feel she needed to do all that. It was when I watched it, like, girl, you mad like that? I mean, she said it like she hated me, like, oh, her, Like she was talking about an enemy, someone she had never even been friends with.
Who are you to dictate how I respond to how you hit me?
Do you get why she's so upset, though?
What? What are we upset about? The fact that I said you had a C-section, you did. You told the world. You went on Instagram and told the entire world about your C-section. So for me to say, hold on, shouldn't she be healing from a C-section versus being messy as shit about me? I'm sorry, where's the lie? Where is the lie?
She said stuff about Dennis, forward to the blogs, which she knew had been hurtful to him, and her husband is his attorney. So it was just like, girl, you are wrong on all levels. Then she's like, oh, PJ looks like Dennis with a ball. But my thing is, I know my daughter looks like her dad, but you're trying to say it in the same tone as cursing me out. So that means you're saying it within a negative way. So bitch, don't bring up my child. That's when I was like, okay, girl, I'm done with you. I really don't have anything else to say to you.
And at the end of the day, when it came to Porsha and Dennis, the girls in this group know Eva Marcille Sterling wanted nothing negative to do with that. I wouldn't talk about it. I wouldn't bring it up. It was like pulling teeth when it came to get me to say anything, even to comment about it. So for it to then be turned around as if I'm over here just dragging her with the lack of respect for her and her situation and him, I'm like, look, was I pissed off? I was extremely pissed off because someone that I thought was my friend creating a whole issue over here. And I'm like, why would you do that? I'm pregnant. I'm supposed to be your friend and you're being messy. So I went off and I was upset. No question about it. Now, my intention behind my venting was not to hurt Porsha's feelings or create some new drama or do blog shit or none of that. It was me venting.
Cynthia, is this the next project for you?
Oh,
Getting these two
Eva
together?
and Porsha back together?
No.
Well, I'll take Eva and Porsha before I take Nene and Kenya.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
So, Porsha, you and Dennis have a pretty tough conversation about living arrangements.
So look, man, I know you want me to be out here all the time. That can't happen, man.
You want to be out here all the time. This is where your family is.
I ain't want to move all my stuff back in here.
Why?
And then you get mad and then you put all my shit back out.
There was a reason that happened before.
Do you have a plan to move in together?
We're pretty much still in the place of figuring out how to heal. Like, and that process is good some days, it's bad some days. It's just up and down. We're just figuring it out. Me too. Me the most, right? Because you have to build up that trust, and it's not easy.
Do you have any need for timing and timing on the wedding?
I'm not necessarily putting a time stamp on anything. Whatever feels natural. Yeah. Whatever feels natural. That's it. I can't just say, okay, all right, I want to be married this day, and before this day, we got to move in together. We got to this. We got to blah, blah, blah. I can't. I can't. I just have to go with a feeling.
Tanya, how long is too long to be engaged?
You don't have to rush for nobody.
No, I don't.
You guys are living your life for each other, however you do it, and you just make it happen however you make it happen. It's like really what it is, day by day.
Yeah, I'm just putting one foot in front of the other.
Right, right. Porsha, do you feel confident you'll eventually end up living under the same roof? Or do you feel like, you know what, if that's not the way this looks like, that's okay too?
Oh, well, I mean, I wouldn't be sitting here with a ring on if I didn't have hope that we could get to a better place. You know, that's the destination. You know, the time in which it happens is something that God knows and that we will figure out, and it'll all fall into place. You know, God is not about confusion and things being in question and somebody being uncomfortable or whatever. God is all about love. You will clearly know what you need to know when it's the time. So, you know, I feel like we just need to walk our path, and then eventually, boom, we'll end up at the destination.
How is Greg doing now? How's his health?
His health is great. He looks amazing. He's doing really good.
Well, we see Greg move back into your bedroom this week.
You want to get into bed?
Me bad. Oh, me too.
Yeah, me and Greg had a lot of stuff going on. Like, we just came off cancer. Okay, so it really, you know, destroyed our relationship a lot because we literally weren't together for a year. And he was living in one downstairs and I lived upstairs, right? So it really, it's different. It's different. It's almost like getting to know somebody all over again. And, you know, do you want to get to know them all over again? You know, it was a lot. It was heavy.
How often were you seeing each other when you were living in
We saw each other every day.
You would, even through that tough time.
He just lived downstairs because he was getting treatment and he didn't want to affect me, right? He was having a chemo. But we shared the rest of the house, you know? We rode in the car together, stuff like that. He just didn't sleep with me.
Right. But it seems like in a lot of ways during that year, you were living relatively separate lives. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, we were.
How did the coach help your relationship come back together?
Well, she would tell me things like, you know, okay, this is how you and Greg are going to start, because Greg was saying he wanted to come back in the bedroom. And she would say, well, maybe he could start by coming upstairs and sitting in the sitting area, you know, and you could be on your bed and you guys could talk. Like, I didn't want him to come, like, back in the room like that. Because it was just...
Why didn't you want him to come
because
back?
We had been apart for so long, it just felt odd to me. And...
Because it wasn't like y'all got in an argument or anything.
No, it was just him coming back after a year. I really kind of liked my room after a while.
Crazy, Lord.
I mean, you know, I had gotten used to being in there by myself, so I kind of liked it. And I was like, okay, so now he's coming to take up some of my space. So we were it was a process.
And how did Greg respond to this? Did he feel like these changes were positive? Was he resistant to having a coach?
No, Greg was happy to nap and jump upstairs, jump right in the damn bed. Can we spoon? Can we do anything? Like he was ready to get in the bed right away. Because we literally hadn't been in the bed together in a year.
So sex is good now. So you're not having it, right?
Girls.
I mean, even a year without it, that shit gotta be like some new sex, right? Like, wow. Oh my Lord, what is that? I mean,
It was
yes.
different. I mean, it was a process for us. It really was. It was a lot to get back in the bed. Yeah.
Well, it sounds like it's working out.
Sometimes.
Oh my gosh. See, I don't know. This is why I go back and forth. Don't want to be
Actually,
married
Greg
or not.
likes his room too. So you know, we whatever. He come upstairs, then I get in the middle of the night. I can see his ass trucking it on back downstairs. Like, where the hell are you going?
Y'all both are kind of like
He's like, I'm going back downstairs.
Over the last couple of seasons, you've dealt with a lot of shade about your house, where you live, all that stuff.
I'm hearing that they're having a problem with where they're living, that they're renting. I'm hearing that they have to get out ASAP.
Ouch, Marlo, ouch.
I'm telling you.
You just bought a house, is that right?
I did.
Yes.
So tell us a little bit about that.
About these shady bitches or the house?
Both.
This is beautiful. Oh my God, I love that. You've done a lot, Eva. I don't know how you did this so quickly. I still got boxes from my move 3 years ago. I need you to come get my house together.
I just bought a brand new house at 34.
No, Instagram can fool you. Instagram shows she got a house. And I was happy. I've been liking the pictures. I put praying hands. God is good. I'm just so thankful she finally got a house. Lord Jesus. Because, I mean, she was a runway model. Like, I just want her to live in a home and not cramped up in an apartment with all the kids and her husband. No, I'm just saying, I'm not being funny.
It is beautiful. It is the perfect little home for my
amazing.
kids and I did it in my time, the way I want to.
As you should.
For me, I didn't think that it was a big deal that I rented my house when I first moved to Atlanta.
'Cause it's
I
not.
just moved across
Right.
the country. I didn't understand the issue of it. I'm sorry
Right.
no man bought me a $200,000 condo, Marlo. But I didn't think it was a thing. But Marlo made it such a big deal about where I live, which ends up being crazy to me because I explained to her that I have a whole restraining order about protection and
Right.
safety with where I live with Marley's donor. So to make it a big deal, I didn't get it.
Yeah,
But
and she kind of really made fun of that whole thing as well.
well, she attempted to make fun, but the gag is on her because the things in life that matter to me are not things that one can purchase.
Right, you're not a materialistic person.
Never have
and
been.
Another reason why I feel like we're compatible.
I was the face of CoverGirl at 19 years old. I've been in this business quite some time.
Come on
Procter
now.
& Gamble is one of my
Yes.
biggest employers.
Yes.
Be very clear. So I'm a simple girl. Like, it just is what it is.
I'm the same.
Yeah,
I
because
feel
we
like
can go to Como, Italy with Donatella Versace and not come back to Atlanta and rant and rave like Marlo about it. That part? Okay.